This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Carradine. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, March the 5th. And just a reminder, there is no on this date today. Sorry. Anyway, Michael Irvin was a star wide receiver for first the University of Miami Hurricanes and then for the Dallas Cowboys, spending all his 12-year career with them. He was known as a playmaker for making big plays in big games. Unfortunately, his career ended in a spinal cord injury in Philadelphia, with fans in Philly cheering for him. Well, I mean, Eagles and Cowboys were rivals. Anyway, he was known as one of the triplets for Dallas in the 1990s, with Evan Smith at running back and Troy Aikman at quarterback, giving the Cowboys three titles. He works for NFL Network. He used to work for ESPN Sunday NFL Countdown, but doesn't anymore. He's in the Hall of Fame since 2007, and he was in Dancing with the Stars season 9. Anyway, Michael Irvin was the 15th of 17 siblings. Are you serious? He had 17 siblings. Holy fuck. Like, yikes. Anyway, he was born in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and heavily recruited by the University of Miami to play for them. Obviously, Florida-based team. And the University of Miami wasn't really that good before the 1980s, before Howard Schellenberger changed things. But anyway, the Hurricanes were great. Under Jimmy Johnson at the U, as they call it, U of M, I mean. Irvin set school records for receptions, receiving yards, and touchdown receptions. He was part of the 87-88 national championship team for Miami, and made a gigantic touchdown catch from Steve Walsh to sink Florida State, which helped Miami get to the Orange Bowl, aka the national championship game, against the Oklahoma Sooners, and beat them. Irvin decided to declare for the 1988 NFL draft and skip his final year of eligibility. And in the first round of the 1988 draft, he was picked 11th by the Cowboys. There were two wide receivers who actually went before Michael Irvin did, but both of them were pretty good. Tim Brown went to the Raiders from Notre Dame, and Sterling Sharp went to Green Bay from South Carolina. And Sterling Sharp was one of the best pass catchers around. Unfortunately, he got a weird injury in the 94 season. Sterling's brothers Shannon at the Hall of Fame, when he got inducted, said that he's the second best football player in his family, saying that Sterling was better than him. I say they were equals. Atlanta took Audrey Bruce first overall, the linebacker from Auburn, who became a gigantic bust. Kansas City took Neil Smith second, and that worked out great. Neil Smith was a great player. Detroit took Benny Blades third as a safety from Miami. Okay, fair enough. But Tampa taking Paul Gruber? Who the fuck is it? McGruber. Cincy taking Ricky Dixon. Ricky Dicky Dicky. And the Jets taking Dave Cadigan? The Giants taking Eric Moore? Man, there were a lot of people who missed out on Michael Irvin. I love you. Anyway, so Tex Schramm, this was the last time as GM he would make a selection, first round selection. Schramm basically was gone after the new ownership of Jerry Jones in 1989. Irvin became the first rookie receiver in Cowboys history to start a season opener in 20 years. So that's how good Dallas kind of was. Since the Cowboys only won 3 games in the season. But he actually led the NFC, Irvin did, with yards per catch of 20.4, which is pretty good. Still, he got his college coach, Jimmy Johnson, to join the Cowboys under new ownership. Cowboys were 1-15, terrible. Irvin actually tore the ACL in his right knee against the Niners in the 7th game, so that was pathetic. He didn't play a lot. Irvin was nearly traded to the Raiders because the Cowboys needed some talent for the rebuild and all that. But Al Davis, of all people, said to Jimmy Johnson, "Are you nuts? Who's going to catch passes for you?" And that was when Jimmy Johnson decided to trade Herschel Walker. So Michael Irvin could have been traded in his second season to the Raiders. And then they decided to trade Herschel Walker, which was the Herschel Walker trade, which actually worked out in Dallas' favor. I did not know that. So they might have traded Irvin instead of Herschel Walker. But man, that was actually good that the Raiders said no, we don't want him, because then they got the Herschel Walker trade that got the draft picks and the players and all that. So the Cowboys made their run. 1990, they only won 7 games, fine. But by the next year, they won 11, and Irvin was huge. Second in the NFL in receptions and led the league in receiving yards with over 1,500. Cowboys shockingly lost to Detroit, and that marks the only time the Detroit Lions have won a playoff game in the Super Bowl era was against the Cowboys at home, at home at the Silverdome. But then Detroit lost to the Washington Redskins, so whatever. Anyway, Irvin did pretty well. From 91 to 98, he had 1,000-yard seasons in all but one. And in that span, over 10,000 yards receiving by himself. So anyway, he helped the Cowboys get to the Super Bowl in 93 and 94, beating the Bills both times, and got to Steelers in Super Bowl 30 in 96. His best season was the 95 season, where everyone seemed to have caught like 100 passes. So like what, 5 or 6 people caught 100 passes? That was unprecedented at that time. Well, he scored 10 touchdown receptions. Irvin is the only player to play for the first 4 Cowboys coaches in existence. Since in existence. Tom Landry, Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, and even Chan Gailey. Irvin announced his retirement after Dave Campbell became the 5th Cowboys coach. So, wow. So he played for the first 4 coaches in Cowboys history, because Landry lasted 29 years. Like, fuck. No coach could last 20 years. Well, Belichick did, but I digress. So anyway, he helped the Cowboys win 3 Super Bowls in the 1990s. In fact, in Super Bowl 27 and 93, he caught 7 passes for 114 yards, 2 touchdowns. But both touchdowns were in the second quarter and happened within 18 seconds, because I think Buffalo fumbled the ball. So yeah, he caught 2 touchdown passes in 18 seconds. And became only the second player to score 2 touchdowns in 1 quarter of the Super Bowl, alongside Ricky Sanders in Super Bowl 22, which I talked about this year. Anyway, he was good for Dallas. He had a collarbone injury, but he had some good years. Unfortunately, in the 5th game of the 99 season, Tim Hawk of the Eagles slammed him into the famous Philadelphia concrete artificial turf, if you will. Carted off on a stretcher, and it would be his last. He had a non-life-threatening cervical spinal cord injury. He was given a narrow spinal column, which meant he had to retire. But of course, the Eagles fans cheered and all that. Irvin was actually the last Tom Landry coached player to retire from the NFL. Wow. So the last player that Tom Landry coached was Michael Irvin. Nice. That's amazing, all that. Actually, Landry died in between Irvin's last game and his official retirement thing. But he did pretty well. Finished his career with 750 receptions for 65 touchdowns and 11,900 yards. He was a playmaker. No doubt about it. 6'2", 207. He was really hardcore and all that for his playmaker ability. He was inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor in 2005. Dallas usually doesn't retire any numbers. They should, though. Anyway, Irvin missed out on the Hall of Fame in his first 2 chances, but on the 3rd attempt, he got it. So, anyway, it was huge and all that. So yeah, he played 12 great seasons. Unfortunately, he had some kind of issues. No, that was weird and all that. Unfortunately, he would have some issues with the law. Almost every cowboy in the 1990s had troubles with all that. Investigated for sexual assault, but not really there. Anyway, Irvin actually, on the Dan Patrick Show one time, joked that Tony Romo's athletic ability was because of his African American heritage. and Romo's maternal relatives might have been involved with slave brothers. But Irvin did apologize. ESPN in 2007 decided to get rid of Michael Irvin and all of that. Mostly because of a 2007 incident. All that. So anyway, Michael Irvin was a co-star in The Longest Yard 2005 with the incarcerated football players against the inmates versus the wardens. Irvin was in the Sandler film Jack and Jill. What? Amazing. He was actually host of Fourth and Long, a football-themed reality series on Spike TV. Because the winner of the show earned a spot at the Dallas Cowboys training camp for shot making the roster. The winner was Jesse Hawley, who actually earned a spot at the training camp. I think he played for them. Jesse Hawley. Yeah, he was a wide receiver. What a reality show. I don't know how long he played for the Cowboys. Jesse Hawley. Because he was in that Michael Irvin thing. He was signed by the Cowboys. And all that. In his career, he made 7 catches for 169 yards. Well, that was the 2011 season. So, at least he got something going. Irvin said that he had a homosexual older brother. He claimed his initial feelings of homophobia in relation to his brother led to womanizing during his player days, but acceptance and feelings of love towards his brother initiated his understanding for people who were gay and all that. So, yeah, Michael Irvin kind of chilled and all that. Kind of nice, don't you think? But that's just the way it goes. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.